Most of us don't even realize how much of our life is shaped by something as simple as imagined opinions. Not what people actually say, but what we think they might say. That quiet thought, what will people think, influences more decisions than we notice, often without us even questioning it. It shows up in small, everyday moments. You're about to post something and suddenly delete it. You want to speak, but choose to stay quiet. You think about trying something new, but tell yourself, maybe later. Over time, this becomes a habit. You don't just adjust your actions, you start adjusting your personality. You filter what you say, how you act, even what you want. And the effect is subtle but serious. You begin overthinking small decisions, doubting yourself more often, and slowly building a life that feels safe on the outside but doesn't fully reflect who you are. A very real example of this is how many people want to start something, creating content, learning a skill, sharing ideas, but never actually begin. Not because they lack ability, but because they imagine judgment before it even happens. And the longer this continues, the more hesitation becomes your default response. But here's what most people don't realize: the fear of judgment is often much bigger in your head than it is in real life. Most people are too busy thinking about their own problems, their own insecurities, their own lives. Just like you're wondering how you're being perceived, they're doing the exact same thing. Which means you're holding yourself back for people who aren't even paying that much attention. So instead of trying to completely stop caring, which honestly isn't realistic, you can focus on reducing how much it controls your actions. Start small. Do things that feel slightly uncomfortable but safe. Share something simple. Speak up once in a conversation. Try something without over-preparing for it. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's to get used to acting despite the discomfort. Then shift your focus. Instead of asking, what will people think, start asking, will this matter to my growth in a year? That one question helps you prioritize long-term progress over short-term approval. Another important step is reducing comparison. The more you constantly look at others, especially online, the more you feel judged, even when no one is actually judging you. Limiting that input gives you more space to think for yourself. And as you repeat this process, something changes. Not because fear disappears, but because you start proving to yourself, again and again, that nothing bad really happens when you act anyway. That's how real confidence builds, through evidence, not just motivation. People will always have opinions. That part never goes away. But your life keeps moving, whether you act or hesitate. So instead of trying to manage every possible judgment, focus on making choices you can respect later. Because when you slowly stop letting imagined opinions control your decisions, you don't just feel more confident, you finally start living on your own terms. And here's something to think about. What is one thing you've been holding back on, just because of what people might think? And what would actually happen if you just did it anyway?